Welcome back inside our Vancouver Proactive studio, and joining us now is Dr. Nadir Pourhassan, the CEO of CytoDyn. Nadir, great to see you again.
Thank you. Great to see you.
And Dr. Bruce Patterson, the CEO of IncelDX. And Dr. Patterson, great to see you as well.
Thank you, Steve.
So much to talk about today as we continue to talk about COVID-19. And Nadir, why don't we start with you, because you put out a release that talked about a number of patients that were dealing with your main drug right now that have really done very well. So maybe you can talk a little bit about how many patients that you're treating right now.
So we have 54 emergency IND approved by FDA. We don't have 54 patients injected yet, but the story is really, really amazing. We were not given even a green light from FDA to go to do phase 2 because rightfully we didn't have any animal study. Dr. Harish Sitham-Raju from Montefiore Medical School from Albert Einstein College of Medicine, he's the one that injected 2 patients and adamantly asked for emergency IND. When the first one of those 2 patients self-extubated and got out of ventilation, that started to make the FDA feel more relaxed. Not only they gave us a phase 2 for mild to moderate patients, but we also got the severe patients phase 3. Now, as the emergency IND went forward with 11 patients in Montefiore, those patients were very, very sick, and we already showed on the press release why we think that those were almost the patients who were not going to make it at all. 4 of them made it. But then after that, we have reported now 28 patients. We're not reporting 8% versus 11%. We're reporting almost 95% or so rate of patients being alive and doing better and improved. So our rate of among the patients after Montefiore, so we reported 39, so the 28 or so, we don't have anybody who has died. So that's a spectacular result, and we wanted to make sure that everybody knows that.
Dr. Patterson, let's talk to you about why patients are reacting to the drug. And I know you've got one patient specifically that you want to talk about that the word you used was it truly is amazing. I mean, so tell me about why people are reacting, and specifically about that one patient.
Well, I mean, first I'll talk about the patient. The patient is somebody close to me in San Jose, and this patient was on ECMO, which is essentially life support. It's a heart-lung bypass machine. She was placed on Leronlimab, and within 24 hours was off of ECMO and is now close to being off a ventilator, and they've already made plans to ship her to rehab to continue her care and her physical therapy.
Wow, that's amazing. So why do you think people are responding to the drug?
Yeah, that's a really exciting thing that we're announcing tomorrow. And that is, we found a protein in COVID that has not been talked about that is 100 times the normal level in critical patients and 5 times the normal level in mild to moderate patients. That protein happens to be RANTES, and RANTES is the target that Leronlimab blocks. RANTES is like a magnet for immune cells. So the high levels of RANTES in the lung, liver, kidneys has been the reason why you see morbidity and mortality due to these end organ processes. And so by blocking that, we're blocking this mass migration of immune cells, which come in and produce the toxic cytokines that destroy the lung tissue. So this was an amazing finding. And the fact that Leronlimab blocks that protein, which is much higher levels than even interleukin-6, which everybody talks about, and is universal across mild to moderate to severe to critical patients, is absolutely the key to COVID, and something that is a brand new discovery that nobody has ever talked about before.
Nadir, I would imagine that, as we start to move along here in the last couple of weeks, you've been getting a lot of calls from people, and you're getting a lot of calls, not only from North America, but I would guess around the world as well, that are interested in what we're talking about here.
Absolutely. We do have a lot of calls, and we are following up with all of them. But let me just point one thing out. Somebody called me, and they said, from the first 11, you only have 4 that did very, very good. So that's just like 30% or something. And I said, no. Dr. Bruce Patterson took the blood sample of these patients who were very close to not making it before leronlimab, and he showed very important concept that the cytokine storm significantly reduced in all of them, and immunological benefit was given to all of them in day 3 and 7 post leronlimab. Very important. Now, after that, we started enrolling patients like Gilead is enrolling patients, you know, in a severe population. Those kind of patients, our rate of survival is 100% so far. So I want to make sure everybody knows that there is a whole different thing playing here. And Dr. Patterson is being very humble. He's not talking about the discovery that he has made is really, really going to be a big news tomorrow, hopefully, when we are able to talk about it. As soon as we can talk about it, we will go there, and Dr. Patterson will talk about this in more detail, a discovery. And people from around the world, I think one of the patients that you guys hear about it in BBC News, we are in touch with them. We're in touch with every one of them. We have offered to pay for their ways to come from England to America or travel. Whatever we can do as a company for these patients to get leronlimab, we're working on that.
Dr. Patterson, I want to talk to you a little bit because I mentioned, you know, those kind of calls you're getting. Who are you hearing from mostly? Are you hearing from your peers? Are you hearing from other scientists that want to know what you're up to? The general public, combination of everybody?
Yeah, Steve, it is a combination of everybody, and everyone who wants to talk about you know, deep immunology or deep virology to, you know, spouses who are calling about their critically ill, you know, their critically ill husbands or wives, and you know what, the fact is that's what keeps us going through sleepless nights, and not to mention this is the only drug in the world that we're reporting on tomorrow that both quiets the cytokine storm, improves the immunologic homeostasis, and decreases viral load. No other drug can claim that. In fact, Anthony Fauci said yesterday that the antiviral remdesivir would have to be combined with a anti-inflammatory or a drug that addressed the immunologic problems in these individuals. Well, we have one drug that addresses the immunologic issues and, by the way, drops viral load as if it were an antiviral. So that's what's very, very exciting. And that's the hope that we're giving to the patients, the spouses that call us, and giving them some, offer them some ray of hope that we can help save the lives of their loved ones. And at the end of the day, you know, that's what keeps CytoDyn working. It's always been a company with huge heart and a major focus on patients. And it's also something that keeps us working long hours in the lab to try and figure this disease out. And I think we have.
Nadir, I'll give the last word to you. That's obviously very kind words from Dr. Patterson, but what do you want people to take away from this video and what we've talked about? And we've addressed a lot of stuff.
Well, we now are dealing with a very deadly disease. We want people to take us very seriously. In the past, people didn't believe that we could file a BLA for final application for final approval for HIV. We took a shortcut, and instead of going 15 years, we went 5-6 years, and we got there. We did the same thing with cancer, thanks to Dr. Patterson. And now with COVID-19, the results explains itself.
Well, gentlemen, congratulations. I know we're going to hear more about this in the days to come. So thank you very much for sharing some with us today.
Thank you for having us.
All right, Dr. Nadir Pourhassan, Dr. Bruce Patterson with CytoDyn and Incel DX.